Hello everyone and welcome to my recommended mod list with the load order, and today we're just going to go through um, a, a few mods that I've had on the back burner for a while. I keep intending to do videos on them, and either they're too short to cover in one video by themselves, like the video would literally be 2 minutes long. First things first is we're just going to take a look at the load order. And I just want to show you where I've got my graphics mods, because people are having issues trying to get it working, or maybe they're just not sure where to put them. So I'm just going to run through it briefly here to show you. So here we've got the infamous Skyland and Skyrim graphic overhaul mods, which people have had the most issue with. As you can see, I've got Skyrim graphic overhaul at the very bottom of the load order. Just above it I've got Skyland. So that's the best place to put those two mods. The reason we got Skyrim graphic overhaul at the very bottom is because it does say if it doesn't go to the bottom of the load order, it can cause crashes. So we don't want crashes, so just by necessity Skyrim graphic overhaul goes at the bottom, and then just above that we've got Skyland. So as I said in those videos, so the idea is we want Skyland to use the 4K textures or the 2K textures. It says 4K looks on 2K budget, so whatever way you want to put that down as. We want to make the most of those textures, so we put that just above SGO, because SGO retextures a few things and it adds in quite a few effects in that, which we don't want to lose, because if we put Skyland at the bottom, Skyland would overwrite anything like that. So Skyland goes second from bottom, so we get all the nice textures from Skyland, and then just below that we got SGO. So SGO will only overwrite any textures that it's retextured, and it should take precedent. So the game will know that Skyrim graphic overhaul is the one that it runs primarily, falling back to Skyland on anything that SGO doesn't overwrite, doesn't retexture. And then I've got Lush Overhaul just above that, which doubles the amount of foliage on trees, and then just above that Vivid Weathers. So basically they're the graphic enhancement mods I've got, and they just go to the bottom because usually that's where you'd put the graphical enhancement mods, because like I said, they need to like overwrite everything else, the vanilla game and all that stuff. So I've already covered all those in the video, so I'm just going to go and show you now the rest of them, the other mods that we're going to cover today, and we'll do a quick look at those mods. So I've covered Become a Bard before. Some people are having issues with it. I don't have issues with it, but I don't get everything that the mod says it should do. So if you want to play a loot, then get that mod. Other than that, check out the video for more information on that. I've got Stones of Bandolier. That's just so that it puts a map marker for all the stones. Ars Metallica we're going to look at today. Basically it redoes the crafting system. We got Ordinator, Perks of Skyrim. Again, we're going to look at that. Better Loot, which just basically is what it sounds like. It adds more diverse loot to chests, so you get more gems, more jewellery, more money, stuff like that. So no need to do a video of that by itself. Apocalypse Magic of Skyrim, Fendrix Magic Evolved, and Fendrix Arcane Archery. We'll have a quick look at those today. These are the only other mods in the list that must go in a certain order. And so basically all we have to do is we put Fendrix above Apocalypse, so that it doesn't cause any issues with those mods. And you can see there it says compatible with Apocalypse Magic of Skyrim, compatible with Ordinator. We've got Rich Merchants of Skyrim, which basically just gives every merchant in the game 10,000 gold. Again, we don't need to cover that in its own video. Better Horses just makes it so the horses can't die. They have more stamina. They run away from combat. They don't jump in on a dragon fight, which is extremely annoying. We don't need to do a video on that today. Bandoliers, Bags and Pouches. We are going to have a quick look at that today. It is a great mod. Basically adds what it says, pouches and bandoliers onto your character, but it also gives you a lot more carry weight. So for if you're a major dungeon looter, which most of us are who play Skyrim, that's an absolute necessity. Diverse dragons, basically it just makes every dragon a bit more unique. So, and it gives them special powers as well. So instead of just getting like a frost dragon and, you know, your standard dragon and elder dragons, you get new, they all have their own powers. So you can fight like a lightning dragon, or what are some of the others have had? I think one was called a pestilence dragon or something like that. It just means that each one has its own unique ability. You will get copies of that dragon, but there are a lot more unique dragons, and there's some great character models on those dragons as well. Like I said, it says there 23 dragons, each with a unique model and texture. I've seen some great ones. I've seen ones that were like just skeletons with a bit of flesh stretched over them, and some really nice, you know, just loads of different looking dragons. It really is a great mod. Torchbearer just means your torch never burns out. I was getting annoyed with how quick torches were burning out, so I just downloaded that one. No need to look at that in its own video. 50% more perk points. This one basically goes on with Ordinator, and every second level it gives you 2 perks to choose instead of 1. We don't need to look at that today. It basically does what it says. Merchant death prevention. So it is what it sounds like. It stops merchants from being killed. One of the worst things to happen is if you're doing the Companions quest line, and there's a bit of an early spoiler here for the Companions quest line if you haven't done it yet. There's a part where you actually gain a power from them, and you have to run through Whiterun, and that can cause NPCs to be killed if they get caught up in combat or something like that. And it's the worst thing ever to have Bellathor, or what's the girl's name? I can't remember the blacksmith's name. If they die, it's just a pain in the ass to try and deal with that. So we don't want that. Adrienne, I think that's her name. We don't want that. So this basically tags merchants as essential characters so they can't be killed. Vampires suck, no attacks in towns. Again, what it sounds like. It's that when you get the the Dawnguard DLC, you can start getting random encounters in cities like Whiterun, where vampires come in and try and kill you. And again, this can lead to NPCs getting killed if you're not present, or you don't notice them spawning and you run off somewhere else. It's a pain. So this basically stops them from spawning in cities. Doesn't stop encounters. I've had plenty of encounters out in the wilderness with vampires. It just basically stops them from spawning in the cities. Again, we don't need to do a video on that. Undying loyalty. One of the main things I loved about Fallout 4 was it made it so that your followers couldn't be killed. And this meant that almost every time I took a follower with me. And it improved the game so much for me. And when it came back to Skyrim, I remembered the followers can die. And while some people may enjoy that, I personally don't. So Undying Loyalty just makes it so the followers can't die. And again, we don't need to cover that in its own video, but if you do download this mod, just be aware that if you're doing the Betheasda calling mission, you'll have to disable it for this, for that mission. The Parthenax dilemma. Again, mild spoilers here if you haven't finished the game. It basically makes it so that you don't have to kill Parthenax for the blades. I haven't done it yet, but again, we don't really need to cover that in its own video. Unofficial Skyrim patch. Anyone who hasn't got this should go and download it now. It changes hundreds of things, issues that persist throughout the game that Betheasda never fixed. This basically goes in and it fixes all those issues. It is a necessity in my opinion. Although it's not without its faults. You might have seen on some of my videos, I've got a bright orange square around the lumber mill, which I believe is from this mod. And also you can get a green, like a little green artifact on grinding stones and stuff like that. I had that on my first playthrough, but I haven't on this one. I've just got the orange square on the lumber mills. So I've just kind of settled for that because I never go and cut wood in the lumber mills. I very rarely see it. But again, we don't need to cover that in its own video. And I've got Falscar, which I haven't done yet. I keep saying I'm going to do a let's play on it. Hopefully I'll get round to that at some point, but we're not going to cover that today. So if you follow this load order, if you take any of these mods and you follow this load order, you should have a pretty stable game. I won't lie, I do get crashes every couple of hours. It mainly around Lakeview Manor when I'm going back to the home on Hearthfire DLC. It's very rare, and I think it's when I appear in the outside the house and then immediately run to the house and open the door. It could cause a crash on the loading screen. I'm not sure what that's from, but I suspect it might be from the graphic overhaul mods because it's quite busy in the home and it might just get tripped up not loading the stuff in time. But other than that, if you follow this load order, you should have a very stable game and it should look very nice. So the first one that we're going to have a look at is the Bandoliers. And basically you just come to a tanning rack, and under leather you can see now we've got all sorts of pouches and bandoliers that we can craft and put on the character. And this basically, as I said, increases your carry weight, but they also look very cool on your character. As you can see, you get like potion vials, and there's just a large array of pouches that you can equip. Now the only downside to this mod, in my opinion, is it's not very straightforward what pouches replace what pouches. So you can see there you've got back left, that could get like replaced by one that's just called left. See there, that one, it says left, that could just replace back left, and it's not very obvious what one it's going to do, so it's very trial and error to fully kit out your character with them. I'll just show you quickly. As you can see there on my character, he's got the Bandolier, the Dark Brotherhood Bandolier on, and he's got a couple of pouches on his waistband there. So I've worn multiple armors, and the work with multiple armors, I haven't had any glitches with it or anything like that. My carry weight at the moment is on 540, so I think at least 125 of that, maybe not so much that, but quite a lot of that carry weight is down to the Bandoliers. So looks cool on your character and it adds a lot to your carry weight, so I definitely recommend that mod. And the next one we're going to look at is Ordinance, which basically redoes the skill tree. As you can see, my skill tree's got a lot more perks to choose from than the standard vanilla game. And at the top it says perks to increase 2. That's from the 50% more perk points that I mentioned before. So it does some very cool things, like let's have a look at, as you can see in Speechcraft, we've got Performer, so you can use a perform power once a day and play a song to entertain up to 5 people within 50 feet and collect a donation from each. So if you didn't want to download the Become a Bard, this could be a nice alternative to that because you can still perform. Let's have a look at that now and see what that looks like. Let's give it a go. And there he is, strumming away on his lute. So what I really like about this mod is it does stuff like that. Another one is, I'm just trying to find it. Another one is the Dwarven Autocannon, so that you can deploy a Dwarven Autocannon. And I'm not too sure if, I don't think I've tried this one. Deploy, let's give it a go, see what it does. Oh, I'm stuck. Oh. Okay, looks like we've hit a glitch. Oh, I could move again. I don't know what that was from. I assume it was from the perform power. I've never used it before. So that's a bit of a downside. That's the first like glitch I've noticed from the ordnance perk. I don't know what that was. Well, it doesn't bode very well. But I haven't got any dwarven auto cannons on me to use, but what I have got is bear traps. So you can lay a bear trap down and it'll actually catch people who are running over it, and it just got me then. So that's a cool one. If you're like a stealth character and like that, you'll want to use that, you know, to trip people up and stop them from getting to you. I can't find it. What it is rallying standard. Let's go ahead and use that. Powers rallying standard. And basically any followers you've got in the area is you use this and it puts up your flag. Oh, you can't really see it. You get to choose your flag as well. As you can see there, I chose the Greybeards or the Dragonborn. I'm not sure which one it is. And it basically buffs any friendlies in the area, and I think it might demoralise any characters in the area as well. So just really nice, cool stuff like that is what the ordnance perks are all about. And it just makes it so much more interesting to level up your character when you can go in and do stuff like that. It does keep all the vanilla skills in there, although it might change the order in which you obtain them. So if you look at this smithing, if I remember correctly, on the vanilla game, you branched off to the left to get the heavy armors, and you branched off to the right to get the light armors. Well, this one just combines the two, so you choose which one you want, if you want the heavy one or if you want the light one. And obviously you can put another point into it and you can choose the other armor. So as you can see, scaled, plate and Nordic. I chose Nordic when I first did that smithing level. Just put another perk point into it, so that means I unlock the other armors from that perk as well. So the light armors basically I unlock from that. And the next mod we're going to look at is Ars Metallica. I didn't intend to do it all in the Lakeview manner, it just has worked out nicely that we can do. So Ars Metallica basically adds more things that you can smith and change the smithing level. So let's have a look at Misk. The assorted buckles is for the Bandoliers. Most of that stuff's for Bandoliers. But you can see you can craft lockpicks now. I'm in the Dark Brotherhood, so I can craft Dark Brotherhood armor. Same with the Thieves Guild. Torches, loots, all gets added in with the Ars Metallica mod. And I like it this way because another thing it does is it stops you from actually being able to smelt any ore that you're not trained in. So I can now, because I can craft ebony armor, I can now smelt ebony ore into ebony ingots, which I couldn't do until I chose that perk on the ordnance skill tree. So you just got to watch out for that, because it did confuse me at first. I didn't understand. I thought there was a problem with Ars Metallica, and it wasn't. It was just that it was working in conjunction with ordnance. And since we're going to have a look at the Arcane arrows. So this is where you can make arrows that are imbued with special powers. And there's all sorts of different stuff that you can craft, like exploding arrows and arrows that summon things. And I think I've actually got some on me, yeah. So let's just try the fire arrow out. Where is my bow? I've lost me bow. Have I lost me bow? No, there it is. So we've got the fire arrow on. Let's see how it does. And as you can see, just explodes upon impact. What else have we got here? Skeletal. Now it says make skeletal warriors that attack the player. I don't know if it means me or enemies. You'd hope it would mean enemies. And that one's gone. It's gone. Don't know where it went. It's just disappeared. Wind arrow. As you can see there, it just scatters everything all over the place. What have we got next? Water arrow. So you see some really cool effects that it just creates. Nice variety of arrows there for all you archers out there. You're definitely going to want something that, you know, gives you more diversity with the arrows. And one of the things that I forgot to mention was with the Ars Metallica perk, you can actually craft your own arrows as well. Just standard arrows. See, dwarven arrow, so you can now craft them yourself. And all the magic that is added in with the Fendrix and Apocalypse are pretty cool as well. So I'm not sure which one of the two these ones come from, but if you download both of them you'll definitely get it. And there's all sorts, there's hundreds of new spells. And one of my favourite ones, just trying to find it, can't remember what it's called. Raise wall. Now I love this. This is the type of stuff that you can expect from these mods. And you just bring a wall up in the middle of. So if anyone's attacking you, you need a few seconds to catch your breath. Just bring a wall up. Not gonna get past that. Yeah. What else have we got? Thundercrack, another cool one. Just makes a massive thunder explosion. Let's scatter more stuff here. So it just stuns enemies with a massive thunder explosion happening right next to the head. Thunder explosion? Don't think that's right. What else have we got? Mind vision. See through the eyes of a target creature or humanoid for 11 seconds. Haven't tried it, but I'm sure it'll be fun. There's more stuff like that. There's ones where you can Ghost War, cast invisible for 11 seconds and then teleports back to where the spell was cast. So that sounds like it'd be cool if you wanted to run ahead and cause some mischief and confuse some enemies. Make them chase you down a corridor and then you go back to where you cast the spell, which could be behind them. There's just so many like that to go through that I can't cover them all here and I don't want to spoil them all for you. And that's basically it, guys. They're the mods that I keep saying I'm going to do a video on, but for one reason or another I haven't. Usually because it would be so quick to show you what they do that, you know, it's not worth going through all that time to make the video and then you guys just get to watch like a 2-minute video on it. So they are my recommended mod list. All the mods that I showed at the beginning of the video, not just the ones that I've demonstrated here. And like I said, if you stick to the load order, you should be fine. I very rarely get crashes, like say once every, if I had to estimate, say 6 hours or something like that. And you know, the autosave system on the game's that good that it usually has saved a couple of minutes before a crash if one does occur. Again, with the graphic mods, I'd recommend putting them in the order I've put them in, at the very bottom of the load order. And you really shouldn't have any issues with that then. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.